Welcome to Senior Moments. We're here at the Twin Valley Senior Center today to talk about the Senior Medicare Patrol. Telehealth fraudsters exploit telehealth for financial gain. Beware of the red flags. And we'll be talking to Denise and our new speaker, and I think you're going to enjoy this program.
Well, I'm Jean McDermott. I see a lot of familiar faces. You guys have seen me before. I'm here about every 3 months with Senior Medicare Patrol, and I go around and conduct outreach, which I talk about different frauds, and you can basically call me the fraud lady because I can tell you who to go to for other questions, but I just want to talk about Medicare fraud. So, has anybody ever used our talk today, by the way, is telehealth fraud. Has anybody ever used telehealth? Okay, looks like a couple of people.
Yeah.
Okay, telehealth or telemedicine is the provision of health-related services through computers, video applications, a smartphone, or any other digital or online technology. It's promoted as an advancement, and we know that telehealth really rose during COVID, as so many people, we couldn't leave our houses, and we still wanted to get care, okay? So it has become quite a problem right now, okay? So there are three main types of telehealth services. There's synchronous telehealth, which is just O and her doctor, just the two of them. Okay. There's asynchronous telehealth. I'm sorry.
What's the first thing you said?
Synchronous, where it's just one-on-one. Okay? Just the doctor, just the patient, or the beneficiary. Okay? Asynchronous is when there's going to be several people on it. It will be a team. Whether it's the person that took an x-ray for her doctor, and also maybe her neurologist, whoever is on her team. So that's asynchronous. And then there's patient monitoring. And this is one where this is an upcoming thing in our area. We know that, what's your name?
Dale.
Dale. We're just going to say Dale has diabetes, but he doesn't have the time to go in and see a doctor to check his diet, his level, his A1C. So he uses telehealth, okay? So that's great. And as long as it's used correctly, remote patient can save him time, okay? And money, because he doesn't need to drive, he doesn't need to lose time at work, okay? So, have anybody been billed for a telehealth visit? Okay, you don't remember? Okay, remember, we gotta read our Medicare summary notices and make sure we know what we're being billed for. That was a big one that we had talked about. So, the important thing and the one thing that I want to get you to understand today and to share with other people is if you're going to use telehealth, Dale, you need to make sure that it's going to be able to be billed to Medicare, if you have Medicare, okay? Make sure the telehealth can be billed, because there's certain guidelines you have to meet before they can just go ahead and bill you, okay? You need to be located in a qualifying rural area. The originating site is where the beneficiaries, where you live. You can't drive to somewhere so you're in that correct site. It needs to be where you actually live, okay? The site generally must be outside in metropolitan area. I think some of these things we don't have to worry about because our area will qualify for telehealth pretty easily.
So just a question, like Montpelier's the biggest town, but that's still 9,000 people.
Exactly.
So that's not.
I don't know, and that's a great question, Ho. That's why the main thing, if they suggest telehealth for you, what do?
Ask them if they're gonna bill Medicare.
Exactly, yay. So we want everybody to share that because I don't know. I don't set the regulations, but I can tell you the qualifying things. And just like Bo said, seemingly this is a pretty rural area, okay? The distance could be a problem. Obviously, that might be a problem in Vermont. And also probably weather could be a problem. And you can use, it's gotta be real time, which means you're talking directly to them. Dale is talking directly to who's monitoring, okay? So Medicare is not the only program. You can also be billed through private health insurance or your advanced plans if that is something that they cover, okay? Have anybody ever heard of telehealth fraud? Okay.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. Back, it seems years ago, but it was only in May, when I went to the gerontology symposium, the woman who's in charge of this, prosecuting fraud in the state of Vermont, I spoke to her. And she said the biggest fraud that's rising in the state of Vermont that they're prosecuting is telehealth fraud. Well, I said, well, how come we don't know about it? You know, I'd love to know that they're prosecuting different frauds. And she said, we send out the press releases to Channel 3, Burlington Free Press, Channel 5. It's not exciting enough, or I don't know. They just don't have enough time in their newscast. But I'd like you to know, if you go to vermont.gov, Attorney General's Office, so you're gonna search Attorney General's Office, press releases, you can see the frauds that they've been prosecuting. And the telehealth will be there, okay? So,
Do you put that in your newsletter?
that different,
When there's a press release?
no, I don't, because that's state level. I'm federal,
Oh, okay.
okay? That's a good idea, Denise. Maybe we could add something in the newsletter that, because there's always different, there's a resource center called SMP Resource Center, and they send, every week, they send a check about what's going on with frauds, and there's always different frauds in all over the country, okay, that they've been prosecuting. So we could add an example. I think that's a great idea, okay? Yep.
How do they commit fraud using telehealth? Well, the only
Okay.
time I've used it, my doctor's office has set it up, the billing, and there's no issue, so.
Okay, exactly. Now remember, and we have a rough time with this, I know I do, these people are dishonest. You know, fraud is a $60 billion a year business. So they're making money and they want to continue making money. So they're doing these not so good things. And one of the telehealth frauds is, and what the actually local in-state thing is, a therapist who claims, I've been treating Dale, and Dale is on the state health plan.
It's
okay?
actually Dan.
Dan, I'm sorry. I was loving Dale, but Dan is good. I have a brother named Dan. Okay, so Dan, I'm the therapist. I've been treating Dan, okay? And Dan is on the state health plan, okay? Well, it goes along, they're billing, no problem. All of a sudden, Dan notices on his explanation of benefits that they're claiming that they have been talking every day for 3 months. That's how they do it. They up the number of days that they say that they're seeing you. Now, I asked the woman that's in charge of it, the lawyer for our state, I said, why would you do, this is not good. And she said it's horrible because they're taking the chance, they lose their license immediately. Okay? Never mind any fines and possible jail time.
What, is it the therapist then that's doing the billing, or someone
Yes,
else?
the therapist is doing the billing. This
So-
is a pretty small connected. The therapist is taking the chance that Dan won't notice that they're overbilling him and that Vermont State Health Insurance is paying for it. That's fraud. But they've got,
I don't think there'd be that many therapists that would be wanting to participate in that.
and see, this is the strangest thing. I said the same thing. I mean, you've gone to school forever. What are you doing?
Yeah, craziness.
Yeah, There is a lot. That's probably, and back, last time I looked in July, it was most of the prosecutions. That telehealth, from exactly that, overbilling. Okay? So that's why you need to make sure everybody checks their Medicare summary notice and make sure it doesn't say telehealth for 6 days in a row. Okay? Reading your Medicare summary notice is truly probably the best thing besides hanging up the phone like Denise did on scammers.
Or not picking it up in the first
No,
place.
exactly. So,
I don't trust any of those, anybody calls me with any of those things, I'm calling from Medicare, and I say, you're a scammer, you're gonna burn in hell.
now we're back to Dan. Dan is getting his diabetic numbers monitored, okay? Well, his no, I don't want you to have a scammy doctor. Well, his doctor says, I can't be bothered with this. I'm gonna just have the secretary meet with Dan, get his numbers, write them down, okay? The doctor still bills Medicare. That's fraud. If you're billing Medicare, it's gotta be the doctor, or a physician's assistant, a PA, or a nurse practitioner. It can't just be like a random person that's in the office that does, say, clerical work, or
It
even...
is my PA that if I do talk.
Exactly, okay?
It's usually her that does that, not the doctor.
Exactly.
If I go there, I usually see the doctor.
Right, but if it's the PA, that's fine, that can be billed to Medicare. It's just, this is like, I mean, it's the same thing. This is a crazy thing. Why would they take the chance of just having somebody, but they do it for the money? It's a greed-based business, okay? And the other thing that they could do is somehow try to urge you to buy durable medical, or not buy it, get it free durable medical equipment. And we know from one of my talks, nothing is free with durable medical equipment, and it can end up costing you. So don't ever fall for anything with telehealth that wants you to have, I mean, urinary catheters, you don't need them. Anything you need prescribed to you, you have to be seen by your own doctor, okay? So make sure that's the important.
Well, you know what, wow.
But,
I have this thing that I keep getting from the state, I'm a retired state employee, so.
Me too.
I get this thing all the time that they want me to upgrade my blood monitoring devices. And it's saying that it's free. And they say it's coming, it's coming from the Vermont, state of Vermont. It's got state of Vermont logos all over it and everything. And it's telling me that it's free. But what they do want to do in there is that they want to monitor. And I'm thinking that may not necessarily be a good thing either. It sounds to me like that might be a fraudulent. So if I want to get like a new monitoring device for blood sugars, I should just have it go directly to my doctor, is what you're saying?
always.
Wow.
Always only through your own
What should I
doctor.
do with that when I get
Well, here's
another
one
letter?
thing,
Another letter, should I bring it down to the state, bring it to?
here's what you
Blue
should do.
Cross or what?
Luckily, you have that card right there, the card carrier, that has the SMP number.
Oh, yeah.
So we want you to report these frauds. That's how another part of bringing down the number of frauds, okay? Education is powerful, but Janetta can get this information together. She is the person that I work with, she takes the complaints. She can get this information together and send it to the FBI, who are the ones that prosecute the fraud, because Medicare fraud is a federal offense, okay? Because coming back to where you started, Medicare will never call you, they also will never email you, and they also will never text you. Same exact way as Social Security and the IRS, okay? So, following that guideline, you never ever should believe anything that comes via email or anything like that.
I'm a retired state employee too, and the insurance company sent gave me a blood pressure monitor that when I take my blood pressure, it records it and sends it to the sky. Livongo is the company, and I think they're legitimate, and I've been doing it for years, and it's really helpful to have this, and I can do a printout and show my doctor, my heart doctor, what's going on.
Okay, so who was it prescribed by?
It wasn't prescribed by anybody, it was the health insurance company, when they saw that I was having heart problems. They decided
They
to send me a
suggested this.
heart monitor. So I don't know if you've heard of Livongo.
But then, no, I haven't heard of it, but it must have been charged to Medicare.
Yeah, but it was like a
Because somebody
one-shot
paid
deal.
for it,
Yeah,
or your health insurance,
yeah.
okay?
Because I've never seen anything from them on any of my statements.
Well, thank God they haven't like gone to the dark side
Yeah.
and.
I should ask them if I should ask the health insurance state people
Yeah,
because it's called Livongo, and I really
who's,
appreciate
that they're, make sure that they're,
Yeah.
it's a legit,
But I've had it for at least 10 years.
that's great. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
It's very helpful.
It sounds like a good program, but that's also part of your state health insurance, so I would
Well,
look
that's
into
what I was
it.
wondering,
Yeah,
if it's a legitimate
right.
state health
Do
insurance.
you get an explanation of benefits from that? So
No, I just get the regular one.
The Medicare summary notice?
Yes.
Okay, is it on there or no?
I've never seen it on there. I mean, they've
Okay.
only,
I'm curious who's paying for it now, because
but it was like, they sent it to me like 10 years ago, and I'm still using it.
somebody's paying for it. Nobody does anything for free. Except me, I give away free things, okay? You need to look into who's paying for
Yeah, I
that.
should ask the insurance people.
Yeah, ask the insurance.
Surely they know about this program, if it's their program to refer
I bet they do. Okay, so to avoid being a victim, or if you think you were a victim, follow the message, which is prevent, so be careful. Don't fall for, anybody just talking to you and saying, oh, this will be billed. You have to check and make sure it can be billed. Otherwise, you're gonna have to pay out of pocket. It's gonna cost you. Make sure the telehealth can be billed to Medicare, okay? So that's the first one, detect. You're making sure that you keep your Medicare number safe. You're not selling it, you're not sharing it, you're not doing anything.
So if your provider sets up a telehealth call,
Mhm.
then you're probably okay?
No, ask him. That's the number one thing from today's presentation, that you ask your provider, is this gonna be paid for by Medicare?
Okay.
Okay? Because for all we know, and I mean, not a shocker, sometimes it falls through the hole and then you're sitting there looking at a bill for $700 that you thought was gonna be covered by Medicare. So always check, even though seemingly those regulations that I said about it's gotta be a rural area, you've gotta be where you live, can't be by a metropolitan area, all those things. If you meet that, doesn't necessarily mean there could be some loophole that you'll have to pay. So it's best to check, okay? And detect, that's when you read your Medicare summary notices. You make sure there's not double billing or triple billing or excessive billing like Dan had for his diabetes. They had him that he was meeting his person via telehealth every day of the week for 3 months. He knows this didn't happen, okay? So, but if he had just thrown the MSN away, the Medicare summary notice, he wouldn't be able to report it, which is using the 877 number, 272, I should know it by heart by now.
8720.
8720. So that's the number that you want to call. Speak to Janetta. Any sort of fraud, if you can capture any numbers, Denise, when you get a call Janetta, okay? She gets the information and sends it to the FBI. The FBI have the more fancy ways to like find out where these calls are coming from.
So
You know,
who's
things
Janetta?
Janetta is the woman that I work with Advisewell. She answers all, we call them complex interactions.
So did you bring any kind of a handout with that information on it with you?
Well, no, because if you call the 877 number, you're gonna get
Oh, okay.
put to Janetta.
This one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, which you all have, and you all have should have the paperwork. So are there any questions about telehealth fraud? I hope you see that it can be an easily done scam, okay? And I really want you to, if you're interested, go and check out the Vermont.
I promise I'll make this short.
No problem.
I know this is weird, but this happened to me and it made a connection. This spring I wanted to go over and stay in a motel in Woodstock, New Hampshire. I called the number of the motel and all of a sudden I got a person who says, I'm sorry, but that hotel is full. I have another hotel that you could use and it was like $50 more for that night. Okay, now the related part of it is, I had called this motel that I always stay at. They intercepted that telephone call and routed it to them.
Wow.
Now, listen to this.
Wow.
That same thing happened to me when I was calling this, I guess I have to say that I did use this, what you call that first thing we were talking about. I called my doctor.
About the telehealth?
Yeah, that one. Okay, I did do that with my kidney doctor in Burlington. I called back to do the conversation with him, and somebody had pulled it out of that, so I thought that I was talking with him, and I actually was talking with somebody else who was then trying to get me to pay money because I didn't have the right Medicare numbers.
Okay, this is perfect, Dan. Can you take 10 minutes and call the 877 number? This is a fraud that needs to be reported.
This, even though that was like way back in February.
Yes, please, call Janetta, anything, I mean, I know, yours, I think, was too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was after you spoke at the MSAC, I contacted the Attorney General's office
Uh-huh.
and didn't do this piece, but it moved forward.
So actually, maybe you could call too, but it's really important, Dan, that you report this, because we've got to figure out some way how we're gonna know what to do, we need to talk about it, so I can tell beneficiaries, this is what you do if something like this
Yeah,
happens.
the two things that I recognized out of it, because I've spoken with this gentleman several times, is that it wasn't his voice. I knew that.
Why?
Okay. Huh?
What did it sound like?
It was, because it had routed it to somebody else. It was a whole.
Oh, you
entire-
knew it wasn't your doctor?
I knew it wasn't my
Okay.
doctor.
Yeah, okay.
And then when him started asking me for money and wanted me to go and get my credit card and give him the numbers. And I said to him, I said, I don't think that I feel comfortable with that. I will go down and pay whatever I need to pay, but I'm pretty sure this was covered by the Medicare from last time. Oh, well, that one went through, but this one isn't going through. And at that point, when I started to feel uncomfortable, that's when I decided this isn't right, and then I hung up on it.
Okay.
I then called back through another way to his secretary at the office, and she goes, he's been waiting for you to give him a call.
Oh, wow.
So I told him, that I did call back and that somebody had intervened in this telephone call and actually, and she goes, really? And I said, yeah. And so she looked into it right off the bat, and I hadn't heard anything that happened from that.
So
but
would
she
it-
was looking into it.
So would it have been somebody in her office that had done that?
No, it was a fraud thing. They were, as I was talking, like I'm talking with you right now, and then she interrupts. She goes in, she actually attaches the telephone conversation and pulls you over to her.
How do they do that?
They do it.
So, but this is super important. Please, Dan, call,
I will.
because this is exactly what they're gonna be able, Janetta, once, they figure it out, they'll be able to tell me what to do with this. And this might be happening in other parts of the country,
Yeah.
okay?
Well,
But
I
if
would
it's
think
happening
so.
here in Vermont, come on, it's a pretty good guarantee it is happening in other parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glad I did stay, but I.
Thank you, that was really, really informative, and I'm gonna use that again.
Yeah.
But take the time, please, call Janetta.
But that also did happen to me when I went over to the White Mountains to stay, and he had intercepted this.
I never heard of that, so,
And so when I got there, instead of saying I'll do it, I went over to my motel, and he took my phone, and we got the numbers, and, excuse me, he used my telephone to call them back and got a hold of them.
And what did they say?
Well, he just played along with it, right along, until all of a sudden he just started swearing and get really angry, and he goes, I am the person that you're telling that I don't have any room in my motel, and who are you, and I'm gonna report you, and he had a connection with all that and stuff like that, and so he was gonna call some association that he belongs to in New Hampshire.
That's
And,
great.
it was a real sad thing, because he doesn't fill up every day, you know what I mean? And they're dying for people to come and stay at their places. And because of the fact that I know this guy's name, he gives me a really good vibe, because they go there once or twice a year. And I thought everything was fine until all of a sudden he said, this person said that they're full. And I'm thinking right off the bat, wait a minute, I know he's not full. Right off the bat, I knew that. And so it was pretty interesting that that's twice.
So we need to look into
that
that.
one there, and then this one with my doctor was exactly the same way. As I was calling that place, they intercepted the call.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, they're good at it. They're really good at it.
It's unfortunate because it, exactly, and that's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yep,
I had another question. I got twice in a row calls just a few weeks ago. If I receive my new Medicare card.
Yeah, that's what I had
okay,
happen.
so there's no plan for a new card to go out at all, okay? And Medicare will never call
That's what I said to the lady too,
you. Good.
because I remember.
And
they
then you
commented-
should hang up.
I did,
Good.
but then they had the audacity to call the next day again.
Mhm.
And the next day, I mean, it was 3 calls altogether, 3 days in a row. And I can easily see how one can give in, because maybe, somehow we need new cards, you never know.
Yeah, it's really hard.
And
that they-
so I said, send me this in writing and I will respond. And actually I didn't get it. Then she wanted to know my address. I said, no. If you're the right person, you know the address. But, it is so frustrating
No, it is, it's
having
sad.
people just try to take
As
you.
long as you remember, do not answer the phone. If you do, don't say yes, and Medicare will never call you. And from this telehealth, we know you need to check with your doctor before you agree to it, to make sure it's gonna be covered. Then, of course, read your Medicare summary notices. You guys all set now? Okay, thanks, Bruce.